All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the No Trade Clause Show. We are live here at NBA Summer League. We've got this beautiful studio here on the concourse at the Thomas Mack Arena in Vegas. And today we are blessed to be talking with recurring guest Nick Legios. Nick has been, as long as we've been here doing this show at Summer League, Nick has been here with us. So we are super glad and excited to have him back on the show. And particularly excited for this conversation because it is not going to be like the other ones. Nick's got an entirely new position that we're going to be spending pretty much the entirety of this show talking about, getting to know his new team, his new league, and really looking forward to it. But Nick, thank you again for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, third time on the show. A lot to talk about. I didn't know if I was still going to be invited. I'm not in the NBA or G League anymore, but I'm super excited about my new opportunity, and we'll talk about it. Thank you.
Yeah. This is all the more reason to have you on, because it's just a new experience, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be a very informative show for a lot of our listeners to learn about a lot of the new aspects of overseas basketball.
Yeah, perfect.
So first, tell us about the new job. Tell us about the team, the league, very super high-level overview of the new space you're in.
Yep. So 3 amazing years with Capitanes in the G League. Just kind of got to the time where it was like I did what I wanted to do. We made the team from a team that no one really knew about to now everyone knows the Mexico City Capitanes, which I'm really proud of. And this new opportunity came up. It's a brand new team in the Mexican LMVP named the Diablos Rojos, and they have a baseball team already that some people know, like the Yankees play down there before the season and their preseason, and then when there's MLB games in Mexico, they play at their stadium, and now they're getting into basketball. So the new team is Diablos Rojos. We're in the Mexican LMVP, and I think that's as high level as it kind of gets. Yeah,
awesome. That sounds like an incredible opportunity, incredible new market to be in, especially with a brand new organization.
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot thrown at you fast, I'm sure, but it's going to be awesome to watch it grow and develop, and I'm sure everyone is going to be tracking your progress.
For sure.
In terms of your role specifically now, tell us about your role with the new program and how it may compare and contrast to your prior experience in the G League.
Yeah, so the role now is, I think outside of the G League, I mean, we wanted to win as the Capitanes, but every team outside of the G League, you're playing to win. You know, so it was very clear from the start. The goal of the organization is to win a championship. So that's what we try to do anyways with the Capitanes. You want to win as much as possible. Mexicans, the sports culture, you need to win. You know, there's not a lot of patience. Like, you know, you can't rebuild.
Right.
So right off the bat, that was one of the key things, but that was what makes it attractive too. And I think that's a pretty big difference. I think with G League, I'm selling like, yeah, please come to Capitanes, but hopefully that gets you somewhere else. With us, it's like, hey, you're with us for the year or the season, and I hope we win a championship. You know, if a player's not performing or something, then maybe we have to make a change. It's pretty cut and dry, simple. When G League is like with Malik Lewis last year, he's 18 years old. There's going to be growing pains.
Of course.
Now he's going off to Australia, which is awesome. But with us, it's like there's no time to really grow. It's like pretty much win right now.
Gotcha. And in terms of your day-to-day responsibilities, things that come across your desk, what are some similarities and differences in terms of the day-to-day operations?
I think so with Capitanes my first year, I think it's kind of similar to how it is now, because now we're doing a lot of things for the first time. We're practicing for the first time. We're doing doctor's appointments. We're leaving the hotel. We're feeding the players. So it's a lot of people ask a lot of the basketball questions. Those are the fun questions, don't get me wrong. But the reality is most of my job is like just making things work.
Right.
Like just having, I remember we had our first scrimmage versus the U22 Argentinian team. I was just happy that we could play. But then we were down 24 to like 5, and I'm like, oh boy, this is bad. We eventually came back, but I was just like, we got 2 teams. They got their uniforms. We got the balls on the court. It's not slippery. Okay, like we're doing a good job.
Water coolers set up. Got towels. You know.
Yeah, literally. Like I remember we forgot the electrolyte, like the Gatorade in Mexico. Like I was like, oh man, like nah, but small mistakes. But no, like I'm not really thinking about. Well, I was when we were down by 20.
Yeah.
And no owner walks in. I'm like, yeah, there's been better time before.
Exactly. Yeah.
But we came back a little bit. We still lost.
Oh.
It's okay. Hey, preseason, yeah, we're just getting it right.
It happens.
Yeah.
But maybe to shift slightly to some of the on-court, does the style of play differ at all between your experience in the G League versus, you know, in the Mexican League? Do you find that there's maybe the game gets slowed down a little bit? We're running more half-court sets. Just any sort of differences that you've picked up on so far?
That's exactly right. It is way different, and we interviewed multiple coaches, maybe 5 or 6, but I wanted to hire a coach who knows the league, knows FIBA, basically stuff that I don't know. So we hired Nicolas Casalanguida, who's from Argentina. He's coached in the league for 5 years. And so I've learned a lot from him, and I've learned, like, fit really matters. And we would talk fit, you know, with Capitanes, but it's way different because you don't know. You can like your fit one game, but if a player is out or gets called up or has a FIBA window, okay, that fit's gone. You know? So it's like you really need versatility and you really need talent in the G League. You could throw, like, 4 point guards in the center out there and, like, we'll see what happens. But with FIBA, with how much slower the game is, you need the pieces to fit, and I think I'll take that. And I told the Diablos, my first meeting, I'm like, this opportunity is super exciting. I still want to be an NBA general manager. Like, that hasn't changed.
Right.
But this is something that I think I'll take with me for the rest of my basketball career, is just how important that fit actually is. Because you're just not going to, when the defense slows down, when there's no 3 in the key, it's like you need to have the pieces fit, or you're just going to be swinging the ball the whole time, like looking at each other.
Considering that you need that depth and that versatility, do the rotations tend to be different in terms of how many guys you're playing in a given game, or is that still similar to the NBA? Are there different skill sets and things that you value in players for your league or in your team specifically that maybe the NBA and a lot of scouts here at Summer League may not see as relevant for their squads?
Yeah, I would say. So the league is also very physical. I haven't said that yet. So the Latin American leagues, a lot of them are very physical. Like, we're 1-1 right now, and we were setting screens, and they were setting screens, and every time I'm like, yo, that's a moving screen. Like, guys are like holding each other, like moving them. I'm like, how is this not? So the league is way more physical than G League. So with that being said, I wanted to have guards who were experienced with the physicality, but I also wanted, like, we have Josh Ibarra, who's Mexico's best center. He's just with the national team in Puerto Rico. Just someone you can just get him the ball, and even if you hack him, it's going to be an and one, or it's going to be 2 points. Like, he's built like Shaq. He's huge. So I really wanted to have that inside presence so that, like, they can't press up on our team, and we have nothing around the rim. Now it's like, just dump it down in the paint, and you know, maybe you can find the shooters too. So physicality and a big that can score were the things I was looking for.
I mean, the traditional post big is maybe a bit of a dying breed at the level here that we're seeing in Vegas and in the NBA. So it's nice to see that there's still a home for those players professionally. Yeah,
we always would consider Josh too, because we like to have Mexicans on the team, but with with literally the FIBA rules, it's just like he was MVP last year of the league. It's like he's perfect for us. No, 100%. You still post up, you still spray out the shooters, so that doesn't really change, I guess. But yeah, it's still alive. Yeah, they don't call fouls, so you have to score around the rim. So
exactly. Given the nature of what No Trade Clause does, kind of as a league front office platform resource for a lot of people to use, I'm curious about how some of those rules are different for you in the sense of, I know with international leagues there are rules in terms of how many imports you can have, how many domestic players. So if you could maybe talk about that split, and then also what sort of financial regulations you guys have in your league.
Yeah, so just even high level before we get too far too. So Mexico has a lot of different leagues. So I think a lot of people get confused, including myself when I first started. So there's the LNBP, that's a league that I'm a part of. That's the top league in Mexico. Then there's CIBA Copa. That's the one that ends like right about now or last week. And then they also have a league in Chihuahua, which is before that. And then there's 1 or 2 smaller regional leagues. So I rewind. LNBP is the top one. CIBA Copa is second, and then there's one in Chihuahua. So with LNBP, there's different rules with each league. But with our league, the top league, 4 Mexican-born players you have to have, and then you can have 8 imports. And you can have more than that as well. So we have an extra Mexican-born player, because there's always injuries. We have an extra import as well. So it used to be that you could be Mexican-American, passports mattered or whatever. But I really like the rule change to have 4 Mexican-born players, because we need to develop Mexico basketball. So with that, you have to if you think about that, okay, so you get 8 imports, you can really a lot of flexibility there, but you're probably going to play with more than 8 players, so that makes the Mexican-born players really important. We realized that really quick. So we got Gael Bonilla, who's one of the best prospects from Mexico. He started Barcelona's academy, went to Capitanes back in Spain last year. So we were able to get Gael, so he can immediate play.
Yeah.
And then Daniel Giron's another veteran Mexican player. So again, that puts our rotation right at 10 right off the bat. So it really values that Mexican-born player, which is important.
Yeah. And I imagine those guys probably call for maybe more money also.
Exactly.
Like, I know, familiar with a lot of the international soccer system and, you know, in the Premier League, for example, a lot of the English-born players, you know, teams get paid, have to pay that English tax and stuff, right? So
yeah, and people, you know, so what a Mexican-born player made last year versus this year, they're like, well, I'd ask because I came in completely fresh. I'm like, what did he make last year? I could look it up, but what did he make last year? But then I was like, and he wants this number this year. He's like, well, he's Mexican-born, and it's like, so guys could double their money because it's like it's literally just supply and demand.
Exactly.
You can't be just because you have a Mexican passport, you know, it doesn't count anymore. You need to be Mexican-born. So that definitely increased the Mexican-born value.
And still my soccer brain is continuously kicking in. But is there promotion and relegation, or are they all independent from each other?
All independent. So they do Basketball Champions League. So it's usually one of the top teams. You know, Champions League obviously with soccer, it's like the winner of the league or top 2. It's a little bit different. I think it's like the winner of some leagues, like maybe the Brazilian league, but Mexico, it's not always the winner, but usually it's a top team. Yeah. And they'll play in like a regional tournament, but there is no relegation. So one organization, Guadalajara Astros, they're one of the best in the league. That's where we went 1-1. They have a CIBA Copa team, and then they have an LMVP team. So they have like 6 or 7 of their guys on CIBA Copa, and then a lot of their like younger guys are developing, and then 6 or 7 of them continue on, which is it's an awesome kind of farm system.
And in terms of your league, do you guys operate with a salary cap, or do you is it a free market? How does that work?
Free market.
Okay.
Yep. There's rights involved. So if a player had played with, let's say, Fuerza Regia, the team in Monterrey, if we're interested in that player, our president asks their president, are you guys willing to either rent or sell the player? And if they say yes, okay. If they say no, combo's over. Say yes, then we can then negotiate with the player. And then at that point, the presidents will negotiate between each other on like what the price is for the player in terms of buying. And then, but that's how the kind of trades work between the 2 teams.
So very similar to European soccer model.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any rights, so we just had to buy and rent.
Brand new team.
Yeah. But you can trade player for player, but we just had to start from scratch and get players without rights too, because.
And so I imagine there's no form of draft, correct?
No form of draft with this league,
Gotcha.
I know the Puerto Rican League, obviously G League, they do forms of drafts to enter the league. No, this one's, literally a free market.
And do you have any sort of combines that go on maybe during the off season to get looks at like potential prospects and stuff? Or
we would definitely like, that's one of our ideas. That's something that I would love to talk to the league about. Just kind of those like, those U.S. concepts, I guess, I think would be helpful just to get to know, because we just talked about how you have to have 4 Mexican-born players. It makes it that much more valuable to find the player 18, 19, 20 years old, to start developing them earlier, get them on a contract, maybe get them with a CIBA Copa team and then onto your team. So I think that would be coming for sure, I would hope. Or we'll do it, Yeah.
I also just want to, I think this is maybe the last question I have is talking about your team specifically. Tell me about kind of what your goals are for the team in their inaugural season. I know you mentioned that you want to be competing for championships right off rip. Is that a notion that's like you in your eyes achievable this season? Are you working towards, or are you going to be working towards that goal like over several years? Yeah,
I mean, I think it's never happened before. There's never been a team first year win the championship. We have no continuity, coming in completely fresh, no chemistry with the team. That's definitely the goal. We'll, you know, we're 1-1, but we went against the Astros, which are always one of the best teams in the league. So we lost at the buzzer to a Capitanes player that I didn't sign, Juan Miranda. Proud of the guy, though. And then Rigo Mendoza went off, too, one of my favorite basketball players. So it was, like, classic. It was, like, Juan, like, I was on the fence about signing for, like, 2 months, and then he hits a little floater with 10 seconds to go. So, I mean, we played one of the best teams in the league. We went 1-1. We're definitely, that's the goal. I mean, the baseball team is historically good right now. Like they're 60 and 16, which in baseball, like,
That's
it's something
pretty
like
unreal.
that. That doesn't happen in baseball.
Yeah,
like that,
no.
they have Trevor Bauer just like destroying the league. Robinson Cano just had a 30-game hit streak.
Wow.
But they, yeah, so no pressure, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but they want to win a championship, and we do too. That was very clear from the start.
Yeah.
So that is the goal. Maybe it takes a few years, but I hope not. Yeah.
And how many games is your regular season? What does the playoff structure look like?
36 games, so 18 home, 18 away. There's going to be a cup in Monterey end of August. So I think the top 8 teams will go to Monterey, play in like an in-season tournament.
Yeah.
So that's, I forgot what it's called, but that's like an in-season tournament.
Yeah.
And then playoffs, there's 16 teams, and the top 8 will go into the playoffs. So then it's best of 5 and then best of 7 series. And all these games, not to like plug the league, but it's awesome to watch because it's on YouTube Live, Facebook Live.
Yeah.
You can find it on every channel in Mexico. So they really just get it. Because some leagues, like I love watching EuroLeague, Eurocup, it's like a pain to watch. But
100%.
ours is like, my parents are up in Maine, like on YouTube
Yeah.
Live, you know, Facebook
It's super
Live.
accessible, and
Yeah.
by all means, plug the league.
Yeah.
I want like as many of our viewers and to learn more about international basketball and the way that it works. And this is, I'm sure, a lot of new information coming at people. So the more fans and viewers and people who armchair GMs who follow this kind of stuff, the more they become familiar with how the rest of the basketball world looks.
Yeah.
And as you could see by the players here and the players competing at the highest level in the NBA, is the international game has more than caught up. It's like
For sure.
the best players are coming from all over the world. So
And there's a lot of future there's going to be future players in our league that probably get to the NBA. Like Alfonso McKinney started, again, we did our lesson before, not LMVP. He started Ciba Copa.
Wow.
And he made it to the NBA. You know, he went Ciba Copa, then he went to Luxembourg, then he did a tryout, G League tryout, and then he had like a 5 or 6 year NBA career. So it's like there is really talented players, and it's super, and the crowds are awesome. So I'm super excited. But yeah, I was new with, I didn't really know much about the LMVP 6 months ago. So now I'm becoming an expert. So yeah, if people follow the league, obviously appreciate it. And yeah, I'm excited.
yeah, what's the fan experience like in terms of the culture, the lot of attendance, high attendance at games? Like how engaged do you feel like is the community and the fan base? Like maybe not necessarily only with your team, but with the league as a whole.
Yeah, there's really, I mean, so we were just at the Astros. They generally have, in Guadalajara, they generally have one of the best crowds in the league, completely packed. It was like, I think 3,500 or 4,000, but everyone is into the game. There's drums going on and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit like Capitanes too, where it's just like so lively. Now we're playing these smaller arenas. Like ours holds, I think, 5,000, and I think it's going to be sold out the first 2 games. So it's going to be just a madhouse, which is just like super
incredible.
fun.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've been to some soccer games in Mexico, and that's crazy.
Yeah,
Their
yeah.
stadium's a little bit bigger, and it's super fun. But I'm excited where basketball can go in Mexico.
No, that's incredible, and I really appreciate you again, like sharing everything about the league and the team, and I really hope again, like people tune in and people watch and see how far the Diablos Rojos can go. Last question I got for you: how good is your Spanish? How good has it become?
Entiendo 50%, pero hablo un poquito porque estoy tímido.
Okay.
I'm shy.
Yeah.
I understand, I'd say half, maybe more, unless they're from Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico, then I don't understand them.
Right.
But
those accents
I
are
understand
tough.
most, but yeah, we're getting there.
That was pretty good, though. I'll give
Right?
I mean, I'm not a Spanish speaker, but I speak Portuguese, and I was able to pick up a bit of what you were putting down. So I think you'll be able to get by.
Let's hope so. Portuguese, though, they say it's close to Spanish, and I'm like, Bom dia, like that's all I got.
Not bad. Man.
Obrigado.
Not bad.
It's like I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
But yeah, Spanish is it's getting there, and everything with G League was English. Now it's all Spanish.
Right.
All my coworkers is all Spanish. Like, all right, like we got to. Well, I have been learning a lot, so it's been good.
You got Duolingo?
I got TV shows.
Shows.
I'm a bad student, always have been. So
Yeah.
I just watch as much TV, and
I mean, that is a great way to learn.
yeah, TV, and also just like I have to use it now. Before I didn't have to use it. I speak to the Jaleel Okafor. I speak English.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, a lot of guys don't speak English, so it forces me to speak Spanish.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you can follow Nick on his journey to learn Spanish along with the Diablos Rojos. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Please go check out Nick's league, Nick's team, and talk to everyone soon. Thanks for watching.